Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is Wednesday, and I hope you're all doing well. I hope you have all been doing what you're supposed to be doing, not just telling yourself you're going to do it later and not doing anything at all. It is the middle of the week, and I hope you have all been making progress and been doing what you've been supposed to be doing. As you see, I'm on this video, and we are going to get into it today because I need to really reel into all of you and let you know that the more you keep relying on motivation, the less you will see progress. You need to focus on discipline because that for me was the only thing that actually changed my life. But it was me getting distracted at my jobs that threw me off balance. What do I mean by that? So, discipline, as you've all seen, is basically the act of understanding and doing the same actions, behaviors, or tasks repetitively, regardless of how you feel, what's going on, and what could be coming in your path. I know a lot of times we refer to discipline when we're talking about studying, when we're talking about going to the gym, and when we're talking about either getting your finances in order or doing anything that's going to really benefit you in the long term. But I think the key thing that a lot of us need to understand that discipline isn't just the act of building a new habit. It's literally the act of progress. Because when it comes to doing new things, it's going to be hard for you to understand what you're doing if you only do it when you want to. For example, the easiest way that we are all technically disciplined is when we go to work. Every single person who starts a new job or starts a job in general goes in, you learn what to do, they train you, and you do the same thing for however many hours you're on your shift. But at the same time, you come back either the next day or whenever you're scheduled again to not only repeat those same tasks, but learn new tasks to not only make you more efficient, but also more reliable in that work environment. So that's exactly why discipline is important. I understand that when it comes to a job, you're paid to be there, so it's easier to not look at it in a disciplined way since there's a benefit for you being there that you can directly see. But at the same time, a lot of us have things that we want to do outside of work, such as me getting into content creation. I'm sure there are people who want to get into content creation as well, and or there are people who are in school who want to do better in class or want to pick up a new hobby and get better at something. We all have certain things that we have interest in and want to get better at. But the problem is we're doing these things when we want to because we know we don't necessarily have to do it. And that's where motivation versus discipline comes in. When you feel motivated and you hear something that makes you feel like you can do something or you want to do something, that's when you get that urge and that sensation in your body to want to go after and put your effort into something that you've already wanted to do. But at the same time, if you in your own way don't see a direct benefit from it almost immediately, that's how easy it is for certain people not to continue doing what they're supposed to be doing. For example, one thing that I want to get going and what I've been doing is learning trading. But to be a profitable trader, you're going to have to understand you will lose money. You're not always going to make money. You have to learn not only technical analysis, you have to learn a skill set, but you also have to put in time on the charts by not only charting on the charts, but also taking trades, of course. And when it comes to doing acts like that, especially when it comes to money, yes, you have to have discipline in order to get the skill set mastered, but also understand the concepts. But it's also very easy to only feel motivated because you understand that this has potential for you to make money. But in order to actually be successful, you have to be disciplined to continuously gain the knowledge that is required to be profitable in this skill set. And when it comes to either putting money in Robinhood and using a live account or paying for a funded account for futures, there's a lot of people who have seen themselves not be profitable, lose money, and that kills their motivation because they see this as not benefiting them as they thought it would. So because they don't see the immediate good side of what they're putting their effort into, it's hard for them to continuously go back because they're scared of the bad outcome that they just faced. Nobody wants to lose money. I don't want to lose money, but at the same time, it's something that you have to understand will naturally happen. But as you get better, you understand what to do to not lose money. And that's where discipline comes in. It's also like riding a bike. When you fall, you don't just say you're going to stop. You cry, you dust yourself off, and you get back on the bike because you understand that you really want to master this skill. Your feelings are attached, but they're not so attached that you're not willing to go back into what you were doing before. Now, I understand that it's hard to relate to some of these things because not everybody trades, or some people may not understand where I'm technically going with this. But the point is, when you're going throughout the process of learning something new, you have to understand that you will not be successful right away, but you continuously going back into that area, you continuously trying again, and having that discipline to tell yourself that I'm here to not only get better, but also understand what's going on in this particular environment. That's what's going to allow you to be successful in the end. Because when it comes to motivation, it's that feeling of an immediate outcome that makes you want to go after and do something because you can see yourself having the outcome that you want. But the moment you try that thing and you either face a roadblock or something bad happens from it, you get scared. And that's understandable, but that's where you were only motivated because of a feeling. You weren't disciplined enough to continuously try again, regardless of the outcome. And the best way to understand discipline is from those who talk in a way of being outcome dependent, not being dependent on the outcome. What I mean by that is when you are going after a goal or going after a task, whether you know that there's a possibility of you failing or there's a possibility of you being successful, you're still going to go after that goal because you understand that even if you achieve what you want or even if you don't achieve what you want, you know that you still want to try, you know that you still want to learn, and you know that you still want to see what can come about from you entering this environment. That's another reason why, for example, you see me constantly going after these manager jobs. Not only have I been in these environments before, but if I've gotten scared from the fact that I've been fired in these positions, I would never have landed the position that I'm currently in now or waiting to start, because I had the discipline to understand that I made mistakes in my past, but they're not going to keep me from going further in my future. I just have to understand what currently happened, not let it affect me, and also move smarter, because when it comes to doing these things, you can't let yourself just be driven off by the fact that you didn't get what you want right away. That's not how you build success. That's not how you build any type of foundation. Ask all the most successful people in the world, and I probably don't need to tell you this, they failed many times because failure equals learning. In order to learn, you have to fail. Not always are you going to learn just because you got it right, because at the same time, when success comes into play, there also is a bit of luck. So, if you don't understand what you're actually doing from the discipline of continuously doing the same task, you will never get where you want to be. Such as me, who is being disciplined by going to the gym, by creating this content, and sharing the knowledge that I have with all of you. Discipline not only builds up your physique, but it also builds up the benefit of having the habits that will not only benefit you long term, but will also put you in the position that you want to be. A lot of us have things that we not only think about on a daily basis, but there are things that we see other people doing that we wish we could do. But the fear of not being as successful as that person that we saw in such field makes us not even try, when you never know what could happen. That's why it's always best to not only think for yourself, but also not let the outside environment control what you do in your decision making. It's very important for you to think for yourself, but as we've all seen with social media being very easily manipulative and also very emotional with how they like to put things in your face to make you feel a certain type of way, it's very, very, very important for you to be self-aware enough for you to understand what you want, what you like, what your desires are, and understand how to separate the outside noise from what's going to actually benefit you, such as being disciplined. I understand that there's a lot of times where we have the motivational talks. We have a lot of times where people see things on the internet and people post things that not only make us feel a certain type of way, but you also have to remember that that isn't the reality of what's going on 24/7. Those same people who show you the benefits, who motivate you, they have their own troubles, they have their own hardships, and they have their own issues that they go through. But when it comes to social media and what's attractive and what gets likes and what gets clicks, it's the benefits, it's the good things, it's the upside, not the downside. That's why content such as what I'm making, content such as long form that's relatable, has become more popular, because people want to be able to understand that not everybody just has everything figured out. Like me, I don't have everything figured out, but I'm trying and I'm putting my best foot forward to not only understand what I'm doing each and every day to make myself better, but understand what I did in my past that have made me either fall and stumble, but have also held me back from being further than where I could have been right now. Not everything is a immediate goal. Not everything is something that immediately needs to be achieved, but through discipline, through hard work, through continuously doing the same thing over and over, not only learning but also building that consistency, you feel natural in what you're doing. You feel confident in what you're doing, and you'll be able to pass that information from what you've done continuously on to people who want to either learn from you or need help. That's how you become a leader. That's how you become somebody who's able to guide others, such as I have been able to level up in the fast food, hospitality, and restaurant industry, not only going from a regular employee to manager, assistant manager, and general manager. It's allowed me to not only at my young age connect and communicate with the younger staff, but also teach them what it means to not only be an effective employee, but also have them understand that the work environment isn't a scary place. It's somewhere you can benefit from, and it's somewhere you can learn from a lot, because a lot of the skills, a lot of the traits, a lot of the learning lessons you get from the work environment are not going to be what you get from school, because you're in a closed environment where everyone pretty much behaves the same way. And that's another reason why a lot of people are struggling when it comes to getting a job outside. They haven't built the discipline of the real world from the trial and error of making mistakes, having to fix things on their own, and not having a backup plan of some sort or anybody to be right there to pick you up off the ground. You have to figure it out on your own. That's why you see a lot of people struggling nowadays, because they don't understand how it's very different when it comes to just being in a certain type of environment for so long where you didn't have to do everything or figure out everything on your own, versus only working, being the outside. You have to find jobs on your own. You have to be able to communicate effectively. You have to be able to convey yourself properly to get a job, and you have to understand how to navigate the work environment, whether you're working with people your age, whether you're working with people older than you, and you have to understand how to be very sensible and knowledgeable whether they ask you to do certain tasks based on the job that you have. That's why building that discipline through going to the gym, through studying, through working on your craft, or building anything that you want to build will not only give you the confidence to translate that energy in the work environment in other fields, but it will also allow you to understand what's going on, particularly in your life. That way you don't have to feel confused on a daily basis about what you want to do or where you want to go. Because a lot of people, although they're young, they still feel very confused because they haven't quite put themselves in a position where they understand doing certain things will get me to where I want to be. A lot of people live life on autopilot, and they just wake up and do whatever they feel like throughout the day, or do whatever comes around to them. Having a routine, building up habits that you know throughout the day or every day that you do, not only allows you to have a more structured life, but it doesn't allow you to have the confusion that a lot of people have when they just gravitate toward different things every single day. I know I've been yapping, but I hope everybody not only understood, took a note, but also gravitated towards the art of discipline. Discipline isn't hard. It's quite literally just doing the same thing over and over. Don't let your overthinking stop you, because I'll be honest, even when I want to make these videos, I sometimes overthink what I want to say. And even in this video, I went on a little bit of a tangent, but I pretty much summed up in many various examples of what I'm talking about when it comes to discipline. But the point is, you just need to continuously put in that effort. Don't let fear, like I always say, don't let your thoughts, don't let what other people say stop you from going after what you want. If there's goals that you have, you need to understand that it's all about you. The biggest obstacle to your goals will always be you, because nobody, not your mom, not your dad, not your brother, not your sister, not your husband, not your wife, not your girlfriend, not your boyfriend, not your best friends, not even your pets, will get you to those goals that you have deep down in your heart. You have to put in the work and be able to understand that regardless of what happens, I'm going to stay disciplined on this task and build from here. That's why I've made that commitment myself to stay disciplined in the new job that I get and build from there. Because if you don't start continuously being consistent, start making the reps consistent and start doing what you know will get you to where you want to be, you will always be stagnant. You will always wonder why you're not making progress, and you will always look at those people who have certain things that you want without you ever knowing that you could have those same things too. And with that being said, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Please like and subscribe. We're at 76 subscribers. Thank you all who's been subscribing. Leave some comments. If you guys enjoy the videos, let me know. If there's anything specific you want me to talk about, let me know as well. Shoot me a DM. Like in the link in my bio or in the description is a 9-to-5 playbook. Go get your copy. It'll not only help you understand the work environment, prepare you on how to interview properly, but also teach you what you need to not only level up in the work environment, get promotions, but also exceed in whatever career field you're going after. Peace out, guys. I'll catch you on the next one.